Okay, welcome to our very first Q Legacy Leadership Academy. I'm so excited for this. This is something that I've had in the works for a little while. Jake and I actually talked about this several months back, and our team is growing at a rapid rate. We have new up-and-coming leaders every single day. So if you're on this call, congratulations. I am so proud of you. I know some of you really well, and I'm just getting to know some of you. But you guys are the next wave of leaders, which is really cool. I'm happy to be passing the baton and really just proud of each of you. So I just wanted to say thank you for getting on here and giving of your time. I hope that you learned something tonight. We're going to have this monthly. It will be different topics with different up-and-coming leaders, and some leaders from corporate and some leaders from the field, from other teams and other top leaders that you know well. But it's just great to hear where people have been, right? I think it's so easy to look at those of us that you would consider to be in leadership positions, and that many of us look up to, and not know the things that they have faced, not know what's going on behind the scenes. So we want to give you a little bit more behind the scenes, and I'm super excited to introduce our first speaker, Miss Vanessa Parrish. She is a silver ambassador on this team. And Vanessa is a very dear friend of mine. She is a mom of two sweet little girls and lives in Arkansas. I actually got to visit her there this past December, and she has a rapidly growing team. Vanessa is going to talk to us a little bit tonight about getting into phase one, building momentum, doing what that looks like, especially because we all kind of start out there, and then oftentimes as we get into a leadership position, we can get into this kind of mode where we take our foot off the gas a little bit, try to train everybody up, and it's easy to kind of forget how to get restarted again. So I'm excited for you guys to get to hear from her tonight. Vanessa, you want to unmute? Can you unmute? There you go.
Yes. Hey guys, how are y'all doing? I am from Arkansas, right here. I had to put my Arkansas shirt on so y'all would know where I was from. Bree is on here too. She's one of my Arkansas girls. We say y'all a lot. We don't marry our brothers, just to clear a little bit of that up. Okay, so a little bit about my story. She kind of described me a little bit. I came in here to Q in August. I ran really hard, really fast, hit rank after rank after rank really, really quickly. I hit bronze in, Brooke, 5 weeks, I think. It was really, really fast. And then after I hit bronze, I sat for like 2 months, 3 months, actually. I think it was September, October, 3 months. And I was pushing really hard for silver, but I found myself not adding new people. So who has been there, right? You come in, you add. Actually, my first month, I was the top recruiter in the entire company. I added, I think, 14 people within my first 2 weeks. It was insane. And so naturally, my first thought was, well, shoot, now I've got to train all these people. I've got to do all of this stuff. I've got to get on all of these calls. So I shifted my focus to help them, because what do we know, right? We bring in all these people that love us and that trust us. So we want them to be successful. We want them to have a story. We don't want them to come in and not have quick success, because then that does a couple of things. One, they look at you and they're like, you told me one thing and that's not happening. Or two, their belief starts to drop really, really quickly. And if you're bringing on a bunch of people, that's excellent. But if you bring on a bunch of people that don't have any success, well, is that really good, right? So you want to make sure, one, that you're bringing on quality people, and I sure did that. But my focus shifted to recruiting, literally reaching out. I had Brooke on 33 three-way calls our first 2 weeks. I mean, we were like, she didn't talk to anybody else, I don't think. She didn't have any time. I don't even think she talked to her husband, because we literally were like on it all the time. And that's how we recruited 14 people in 2 weeks. It was insane. But then you bring them on and you start training, you start doing the three-way calls. You're the one that starts doing that. And so your business naturally takes the back seat. Well, that's a big old no-no. And at that point, I wasn't telling myself that, right? So getting into management mode, that is what that is. Shifting your focus from recruiting to helping managing, training, doing the three-way calls, all the things that are necessary, absolutely. But instead of raising up leaders, I'm the type of personality, and raise your hand if you're like this, it's like, I need to do it. I need to be the one that's doing it so I know that it's done right. The people that I have on my team are fantastic and phenomenal, but that's that type A personality in me. And so I completely stopped recruiting, like 100% stopped recruiting. I went into 100% management mode. And I will tell you that is the death of your business. I will tell you that it's not going to happen quickly. Your business is not going to start doing this quickly, but over time, if you're not bringing people in and you're not in phase one, your business is going to die. It's going to deteriorate. Me and Kristen Manassian have talked about this over and over again, that it's seriously going to just fizzle out because you have to have new, Taryn Sarconi told me, new babies coming in all the time. And that's truly what they are. You bring them in, you love on them, and then you let them fly out of the nest and take their business on their own. You have to. So if you're sitting there, most of us on here are leaders. We're at least executive, elite, bronze, silver, gold, something of that nature. But if you're saying, oh, that's not happening to me, my team's not big enough, it doesn't matter. You could have one person and you shift into management mode, right? You could have two people and you shift into that, or you could have 100 or 200. It doesn't matter how big or small your team is. It's what's up here. That's the big thing. And let me tell you why a lot of us do it, because helping people reach out to people is a lot more comfortable and not as nerve-wracking as you being the one reaching out to people, right? I know for me, that was a big part of it, because I reached out to all of the people that I knew would trust me and join me. And then it got to the point where it was going to be, oh, I got to reach out to those hard ones. Oh yeah, I'm just going to go help these people. I'm going to help make sure they're successful. And then maybe I'll get brave and then reach out to them. That's one reason that we do it, because it's more comfortable. It doesn't take the pit in our stomach, because we're telling them, you go reach out to them, when you're really not doing it yourself. But what do we know as leaders? The speed of the leader is the speed of the team, for one, and your team is going to do half of what you do, at a maximum half, if they even do that. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you're wanting to expand, if you're wanting to grow, you've got to constantly be adding new babies, and you've got to show your team what they have to do to get there as well. Okay, so we can so easily fall into this trap because, like I said, we want others to be successful. We get on the three-way calls. We start doing the trainings. We even maybe are like, oh, I'll get a wild hair and start my own thread, or start my own team page, or start my own team trainings when we're just executives. No, ma'am. You need to focus on bringing in new people. Focus on being in phase one. Let Brooke and myself and Kristen take the page, right? Let Bryn take the page. You don't need to worry about that. We've got that handled. You need to be focusing on being in phase one. So we should spend 80% of our time on our personal business. When I saw that, that was shocking to me, because I am a mom of small kids. I don't have all day, 24 hours where I can just be working my business. So I was like, okay, I have like 2 hours kind of here and there, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours per day, 80% on my business. When am I going to train my other people? That's where time blocking comes into play. There's an excellent video, I think on Kristen Adams' YouTube, about time blocking, because 80% is on your business. 10% is on training your team, and 10% is on personal development and training yourself. That for me was really eye-opening, because I was kind of doing the opposite. I was 80% training my team, 10% personal development and training myself, and honestly at that point 0% doing my own personal business. So it was like 20% training myself, right? And that is where my business started to fall. I'll be honest, I have had the ebbs and flows of business. I've had it. We've all had it. It's natural. So don't beat yourself up over it. You've just got to push through and get to the other side of it. Okay, so time blocking. This is you having a schedule set on Sunday night for what your week is going to look like. If you want to be where I am, or where Bryn is, where Kristen is, or Brooke, you can't go into your week flying by the seat of your pants. You just can't. You have to have some sort of schedule. You've got to get yourself one of these, a planner. If you like it to be digital, you're my hero. I have to have it written down. You've got to have some type of schedule set on Sunday so you know what you're getting yourself into. You have to have time set aside that you don't answer your team. I know I just kind of like blew y'all's mind a little bit. You have to have time set aside where you don't respond to questions about what QMax has in it. You have to have time set aside where you're strictly just reaching out to people, getting on a power hour, or shoot, hosting your own personal power hour, even if it's just by yourself. Or you have to have that time set aside where you're not scrolling on Facebook. I know for me, that was a big one. I was like, oh, but I'm building relationships. No, honey, you're not building relationships. You've got to have time where you're intentionally building relationships. And I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay, so the key to staying in phase one is action. Action, 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 action. That is the biggest thing that I can say is action. Kristen, I want to be you, so it's okay. So action is the biggest thing. So what does that look like? That looks like I just said, you hosting your own power hour. Or we have power hours, if you didn't know, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I host them every Monday and Wednesday. I would love for you to jump on and I can walk you through every single step. But what does that look like? That looks like you piquing interest, talking to people that have never heard about Q personally from you yet. They may have seen a post that you made on Facebook. They may have seen someone else talk about it, but you personally have never talked to them. This needs to be done for at least 15 to 20 minutes. This is the biggest part of your work. Following up is key, but piquing new people's interest is the biggest part of action that you have to do, okay? So I set aside 15 minutes when we do a power hour. That, I think, personally for me, you can knock several of them out in those 15 minutes. My goal is 5 to 7 every single day. You can make your own personal goal. If you're just starting to get back into phase one, start with one. Start somewhere. You don't have to set a high goal like some of the leaders. You don't have to be looking at some of us and being like, oh, well, I have to do 10 a day. No, ma'am. Start with one. Start with 2. Start with 3. Anything is better than none, okay? And give yourself a huge pat on the back for that one, because it is a huge accomplishment. Okay, so first, reaching out, piquing people's interest. I will put my script that I love to use in the comments if you guys want it. One of the biggest things that I like to do is kind of merge building relationships and piquing interest to the same thing. So I like to send a message and say, hey, Kristen, I'm going to use you because you're right next to me. Hey, Kristen, I've noticed that you've been following me on Facebook lately. How are you? How's your family? Your kids are super cute. How is everybody? Let them respond, chitter chat back and forth just a little bit, and then come to them and say, hey, since you have been following me, you've probably seen the stuff that I've posted on Facebook. Have you ever considered joining this business with me? Super simple. So you're loving them first. If you're in my downline, you know this. We love first, we serve second. So we want them to know that we care about them first. And then secondly, we offer them what we have. That's a big, big part. Okay, if you want that script, I'm happy to send it to you. Friend me on Facebook and I'll send it to you. Okay, second thing is following up with people. How many of us have heard fortune is in the follow-up, yada, yada, yada. And we're like, okay, but they'll see what I sent them. They'll see what I posted. But also, how many of us have kids and we go and we read a message, and I do this to Brooke all the time. We read a message and then one of your kids are like, Mom, and you run in the other room, and then Brooke calls you 5 hours later and she's like, hello, you didn't answer my question about the schedule, right? So it's natural. It's natural for us to get sidetracked, and then your husband calls and Brooke's message is gone. So it's natural for that. So if you send someone a message and the bubble goes down that they read it, that doesn't mean that they're ignoring you. That means they could have read it and they got called away, or maybe they were at work, they got a phone call, they had to pick up, then someone else called them, your message is gone. So that's why follow-up is so important. And here's the thing about follow-up that I like to end with, right? So if you just have reached out to them once or twice, of course, following up with them, saying, hey, did you get a chance to see that message? Great. But after you've had a couple of conversations, or after you've gotten them on the phone with your upline, or after you have them in a chat, don't just say, hey, so what did you think? Because that leaves room for all kinds of stuff, right? All kinds of negative or positive. Or if you send them a video, don't just say, hey, what did you think about that video? Use words like, what did you love? What was something that stood out to you? But honestly, my favorite way of following up, if I've already gotten them in a chat or a call with Brooke, is I say, hey, Kristen, what other questions do you have that I can answer? If you don't have any, why don't we get you a product testimony of your very own? Or if it's a business person, hey, Kristen, what other questions do you have for me that I can answer? If you don't have any, let's get those first couple bonuses in your hand. Be bold with your follow-up. Be bold with it, because here's the thing. That shows, number one, that you are confident in what we have to offer. So another thing that you can put in there is, if you don't have any questions, let's set up a time. Offer that, put that out there, because that's going to show that you're confident in yourself, you're confident in what we have, and you are a business owner. This is not just a hobby for you, because what do we know? We work from appointment to appointment. Okay, so that's the second thing, follow up. The third thing, adding new friends and happy birthdays, third and fourth. I kind of merged these. So the biggest thing about why you want to tell people happy birthday is because of the algorithms, those lovely, lovely things, the algorithms on Facebook. One reason is you might not be seeing all of your Facebook friends and things that they post. So when you have those people in your happy birthdays, every single one of them that's not on my list gets put on my list. That's a great way to constantly be building your list with people, because there are birthdays in your Facebook every single day. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't have a ton of friends on Facebook, adding new friends is key. I have kids. I get it. I don't want random strangers on my Facebook, but if we have more than 5 friends in common that live in this area, they're going to be my friend and they're going to like it. So I'm going to add them on Facebook and they're going to start seeing my stuff. But here's the thing. Don't just add someone and then forget about them. Add them and then put them on your list at the very end, so you get to them in a couple of weeks. That's what I do with happy birthdays and with new friends, because you don't want to tell someone happy birthday one day and then the next day turn right around and be like, so have you seen my business, right? You want to start loving on them and pouring into them and pouring into that relationship. So one thing that I love to do with building relationships is replying to people's stories, because it sticks you directly into their inbox. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. I'm going to backtrack for 1 second. So with adding new friends, I try to add 3 to 5 every single day. Trust me, if you go to your people that you may know, or if you don't have one, if you've gone through all of that, go to someone that you look up to and look at who your mutual friends are, or look at who their friends are that you have mutual friends with, right? You can find ways that you can find new friends always, or join a mom group. That is a great way to do it. So for me, my daughter has my crochet. She's partially deaf. I am in a bunch of my crochet groups, and I am one active mama in those groups, because I want people to know who I am, and then I'm slowly adding those people. Okay, so next part is building relationships. This part is key, because like I said, we love first and then serve second. Like I said, I do sometimes kind of mix my building relationship and peaking message together, but if it's a brand new friend, I do not. So one thing with building relationships that I do, I know Stephanie McKenna, not sure if she's on here, we do the same thing. I pick 25 to 30 new friends within the last couple of months, and I love on them like crazy for an entire week. And then the following week is when I reach out to them. So I spend an entire week. I have a list. So on Sunday night, I pick 25 to 30 people, and I spend that entire week replying to their stories constantly, commenting on their posts, commenting on their pictures, commenting on a comment maybe they made in something. I intentionally go look for things that they have posted so they can see me. Here's the thing with building relationships is when building a relationship, it doesn't have to be you going into, hey, Bryn, how are you? Are you doing okay, in their inbox? It doesn't have to be that. With building relationships, you just want to make sure they recognize your name. So you want to make sure that you're active on their Facebook. They know that you comment on their stuff. They know that you care. They know that you reply to your story. So when you do reach out to them, it's not like, who is this Vanessa girl that's reaching out to me? You want them to recognize who you are. And so it's not a strange face. It's not a cold message. It's you reaching out to a new friend. Okay. So the biggest part with building relationships I like to do, like I said, is commenting on people's stories, because it goes directly to their inbox. And then you can go and say, hey, I've noticed you've been following me a little bit lately. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your kids. Your beach trip looks super fun. Where did you go? Tell me about it. We want to go somewhere. So then you can start moving that conversation along. Okay, so a couple of tips that I have for getting into phase 1 or getting back into phase 1, if you're out there like I was not in it, is the first one is take it day by day. Okay, Don't let your emotions get in front of you. You have to bypass that fear, because I will be honest, it's going to feel really awkward getting back into phase one if you're not in it. So taking it day by day, overcoming that roadblock one at a time. The next thing is don't attach your emotion to your action. This is a big, big, big thing. We wake up, we don't feel very good, we have a headache, our kids are being crazy, they're, whining a lot, and we're like, ugh, I just don't want to do the work today. Don't attach your action to your emotions. You have to separate the two. That's very, very important. You have to show up whether you feel like it or you don't feel like it. You have to show up. Okay, number 3 is change the way you think. Change your mindset. Change your brain. So there is a saying in one of my favorite books. It's actually right here. Get over your damn self. The brain consistently changes based on what we think or do. So if you're doing something consistently, if you're constantly overcoming that fear, constantly overcoming that, oh my gosh, what is this person going to think of me when I reach out to them? Your brain is going to start not even caring. Your brain is going to start pushing past that, and it's naturally just going to become something you do, right? I saw this quote one time, actually it was like last week, that said, why do I put the well-being of my family in the opinions of people on a free app? I was like, huh. So the well-being of my family is the results of it are based on the opinions that I'm worried about from people in a free app. What? That doesn't make any sense. They're not even paying to be my friend. Okay, so why am I allowing them to take over my bills? Doesn't even make any sense, right? So you have to think about that. Switch your brain. And I want you to start thinking that pain and fear and nervousness is linked to not doing the work. And pleasure and happiness and accomplishment and confidence is linked to doing the things. So you've got to switch your brain. Instead of being like, I am so fearful to do the things. No, I have the ability and I have the opportunity to do the things, right? And instead of it being that fearful place, let it be that positive place. Let it be exciting for you. Kind of make a game of it. Okay, the next thing is get on power hours. We do them for a reason. They are so amazing because you get all of your work for a day done literally in an hour. I know Kristen and Brooke do it very similar to how I do it, and it's literally, we walk you through it, we give you the words, we give you all of that, you just send the messages. And it's so, so simple. That will help you be consistent. And if you don't know about our power hours, message Brooke, message Kristen, Mindy, Bryn, myself, and ask about them. They are so, so important. Excuse me. Another thing is I want you to revamp your list. So Brooke is going to be nodding her head on this one. I worked with the same 100 people for 6 months. 6 months. And I was like, but I'm reaching out to them, right? I'm reaching out to them. No, all of these people that were on this list, I'll be honest, look up to me. They see my success. They want to have the success that I have. They want to have the success that Brooke has, but they're not willing to do the things. So I switched this like a month ago and was like, why am I reaching out to people that are in the same situation that we've been in since high school? Why do I want them on my team? No, I want someone that's successful. I want someone that is like a go-getter that when I look at their Facebook, I'm like, I want to be their friend. I want to sit and have coffee with them. I want to go to convention with them. I want to see them walk across the stage. Revamp your list to change from people that look up to you, change it to people you look up to and you admire. And I guarantee the success of those people will be completely different. Okay, last thing is don't attach your emotion to the nose and let that push you off the train. This is the biggest thing. Bob Heilig, me and Kristen's boyfriend, says this all the time. He says, how many times have you listened to one of my trainings or listened to one of these trainings and you get all fired up and you're excited and you're like, yes, I'm going to do that. And then you do it for 3 days and one of your chicken listers that you wanted so bad tells you no, and then you stop because you get discouraged because you're like, oh, well, if I can't have her, then no one's going to want me. That is a lie. Don't tell yourself that. This is a numbers game, guys. I'm sorry to put it that way, but it's relationships and how many people you can talk to. The numbers are in the success. So you've got to keep talking to people. The more people you talk to, the better it is. Your business is closed if your mouth is closed. Your business is open if your mouth is open. So look at it that way. How do you want your business to be? Okay, that's all I got. I think I rambled a little bit, but
that was amazing. Anybody's hand tired from writing notes? Wow. So excited that we got to hear from you tonight. I put some comments in there of things I agreed with everything she said. One of the big ones that I've been seeing lately, and y'all, this is why we're having this call, because you guys are in a different place than some people. Your brand new ambassadors are in a completely different place than you are, right? A lot of us are leaders now in a position that maybe we never thought we would be in this business. The people you're talking to have to be different. They cannot be the people that you would have talked to in your first job, in your job 6 years ago, whatever. Like, you're in a different place, right? And that's true of any business. So just make sure that you completely revamp that list and know that it's okay to do that. Make some new friends in your new stage of life where you are. You're going to be you're going to be talking to different people if you are work in the checkout lane at Target than if you're the CEO, right? So that's true here. We want to be working and talking with different people, because that way you're not constantly feeling like you're spinning your wheels with the same group of people that doesn't want the same things that you want. So I love that. All right, Vanessa.